For the first time ever, I am thrilled to say we have an official sponsor for the Dirt Talk podcast, and that's Ariat. I've worn Ariat boots on every job site I've visited over the years, traveling in them across 5 continents. More importantly, I have yet to find a single project where working folks, unlike me, are not wearing Ariat boots and workwear in every condition imaginable. And there's really good reason for that, and that's because it's phenomenal stuff. And the more I've learned about Ariat and the company, the more I've loved their brand. So with this, Ariat is offering any Dirt Talk listener 10% off their next Ariat order at ariat.com/dirttalk. That's 10% off boots, jeans, and workwear at ariat.com/dirttalk or at the link in this episode's description. With that, let's get to the show.
Well, I figured we'd sit down and talk Japan.
Yeah.
Japan. It was our first time, all 3 of us, in Japan. Your guys' first time in Asia? No, technically you've been to Asia because of the Middle East.
My first time. That's Asia?
Technically speaking, yeah.
I guess that is Asia.
Yeah. It's kind of like its own thing, the Middle East, but yeah, it's technically the continent of Asia. Yeah.
I never realized that.
Yeah.
Because you don't think Asia when you go to the Middle East.
No, but it's definitely different. Like, it's definitely not Western. So, yeah. But yeah.
I was just about to say first time in Asia, but I guess not.
No. Your first time in Asia.
My first time in Asia.
Yeah.
Big culture shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First time to Japan. I'm not even sure how I would need to go look back at emails and everything, how the trip came together. Maybe it was through Dino. Maybe it was initiated through Gabe at Hitachi. I don't know how it was initiated, but Hitachi had us out for a few days, for a week, which was very cool. Mm-hmm. A very good time.
That was unbelievable.
First off, what did you guys think about Japan?
It's beautiful.
It's very pretty.
Yeah, very clean.
Spotless.
It's probably the cleanest place we've been to in terms of, and there wasn't a trash can around, which was surprising for how clean the streets were.
It was frustrating that there were no trash cans anywhere.
That was pretty rough. The food was probably the biggest thing on the trip.
Yeah,
it was different.
Yeah,
but
I only saw one homeless person.
Yeah,
I saw one homeless.
And it was in the ghetto.
Yeah,
which was very rare in Japan. There's not a lot of those.
Yeah, for how the cost of living is very, very high there in Tokyo. I was looking it up, just the cost of like a very small apartment, like $500,000.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Crazy expensive.
Isn't it like top 5 up there with most expensive cities in the world?
It must be. It was the biggest city in the world, too.
Yeah, I feel like it's New York, LA, Tokyo. I know Beijing is on there.
Beijing, maybe London is pretty expensive. Paris, maybe. I don't know. Dubai.
Yeah.
I feel like it was the biggest city in the world didn't really like come into play until we got there, and then it's just expanse. Like you look out and it's just skyscrapers.
You can't really comprehend it until we went up that tower, and then you're looking out over the city and it just doesn't end. It's just nonstop towers as far as you can see, which was pretty wild. But like where we stayed, it's like I'm in the city. But it felt you were in some downtown, but then you keep driving and it's just like more downtown, more downtown, more downtown. It just doesn't end. And the highways are elevated, so you can kind of look out over the city as you're driving.
Yeah.
It's just enormous, the place.
The expanse is unlike anything I've ever seen, for sure.
Yeah.
I would say.
I think Japan is maybe the most dense country in the world.
Besides India, maybe.
No, but India's a big landmass.
Yeah, that's
true. It's a big place. So by like density, I think Japan might be number 1.
Yeah.
For or it could be
everything is,
like Bahrain or something random like that. It was super, super small. Yeah.
Or like one of those tiny little islands in the middle of the Pacific or something.
Yeah.
Just completely packed out.
But they
for the amount of people that they have, it's kind of ridiculous.
It's not that big, but I didn't realize how long it is. Yeah, you might want to move that up.
My thing is sagging here.
It sags a little bit. Between the southern and northern part of Japan is a greater distance than Key West to Maine.
Really?
Yes.
That's kind of shocking.
I didn't know that.
I didn't even think about that.
Because of all the islands.
Oh yeah, you got to go all the way down to like Okinawa and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and those
Yeah.
are super south.
So they, and he was like, yeah, you can, I mean, it can be freezing at the northern part of our country, but you can be swimming at the southern part of our country. And I was like, that's crazy. And then I thought, wait a minute, we can do that too in America.
It's just weird because it's on an island in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, it is. It is weird, but I started looking at it on a map and it's crazy the expanse that it covers.
I wonder what the actual landmass, like states wise, how many like the physical main island is of Japan. It's got to be like a South and North Carolina put together or something like that.
Yeah,
it can't be
or
too
maybe like all of it can fit in California.
big. Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's an
probably
ignorant thing to say, but I feel like it's not that much bigger than California.
No, and there's as many people. Way more people.
Way more.
Yeah, way more
Yeah,
people.
in Tokyo, there were 35 million
In
people.
California.
In Tokyo. So yeah, country was great, very clean. But honestly, most cities we've been to, most cities I've gone to, big cities, are cleaner than most American cities.
Oh, yeah.
Like Copenhagen, way cleaner. Dubai, way cleaner.
We can't comprehend clean cities over here.
No, like Santiago, way cleaner. I mean, every continent, it's like, and yeah, I've been to some that are a little rough too. But comparatively, like you think like San Francisco or New York City, like creme de la creme, but no
Not at
way,
all.
not even close.
And I think the big difference is like our tourist areas are dirty too, and it's like their tourist areas aren't. Their tourist areas and their like normal areas are super clean, whereas like everywhere here is like our cities are kind of dirty.
But even like the sidewalks are like clean,
Yeah,
like tidy. They're not grimy. You go to New York and there's just like a layer of grime over everything. Like everything needs a good power washing. Yeah. Whereas there, everything was clean because I ran a lot and just every sidewalk everywhere I was just really nice and tidy. Like even there were police officers cleaning up around the palace, picking up trash, this and that.
Me and Jack were walking to breakfast one day, and there was a lady actually. She was a crossing guard. And she had like a police outfit on, like as a crossing guard, and she had a broom sweeping up, and she was just like helping people pass as she was sweeping.
Yeah,
it was like stuff like that you don't even think of. Like she has like 3 jobs right there, but she's a police officer.
No, I saw a guy outside of a construction site. He had the full traffic control get up, which they take very seriously. They've got like the helmet with the little shield and then the headset. They all had, the traffic control guys had headsets with the little microphone, like you're on a motorcycle. Yeah. And then they had the vest, but that was light up. So the whole vest had lights all over it, so you could not miss these guys. And then it was outside of a construction entrance, and he had a little broom and a little dustpan, and he was like sweeping up outside the construction entrance. It's like, what is going on here? This is so different.
To us, it doesn't really make sense because it's like that's
excellence.
4 different jobs there. But I mean, to them, it's like just a part of their culture. Everybody there just works, you know? They're just good at working.
Well, they're very serious.
Yeah.
Like their career's a really big deal based on what I'd heard before, based on what I've read, and then based on what I experienced. Like even every cab driver, shirt and tie, like suit, jacket, everybody's very well buttoned up.
The standard
like that's Uber's
bottom
too.
level Uber in Japan is better than the luxury Uber. You know how you can like choose different Ubers over here? Like their standard one is better than the luxury one over here.
Dude, I don't know what's happened to Uber over here, but it's dog shit nowadays.
Well, they just let anybody
run that shit.
Yeah, and most of the time it's a clapped out Nissan Altima 2007.
Cigarette burns in the back.
Yeah, reeks of weed. Yeah. You open up the door and you're just slapped in the face with like shitty air freshener and weed.
I'm telling you,
they were opening our doors for us.
The move for Uber is you get the comfort. It's like $5 more, and it's night and day better than the standard.
What,
the
there?
Fact here. The fact you don't even have to do that.
I always get the comfort one. Yeah, because you get like clean car.
It's only like $5 more. And
but that's what Uber used to be. Because I remember, I feel like the drive you had to qualify for a certain car. Yeah. Now it's like they don't give a fuck.
You got a back seat? Cool. Okay.
Yeah, even if that, like I don't even think they check at all anymore. Like you probably like a 6-year-old could sign up for Uber nowadays.
Yeah.
It even used to be like if you had less than 4.9 stars, you weren't getting a ride. Like that was like now I get 4.72 stars on Uber. I get rides from those guys all the time.
But anyway, so yeah, Japan, very serious, very clean, very tidy, very orderly,
Incredibly hospital.
super kind.
The people were awesome.
That was incredible.
Over the moon. Yeah, they were.
When we showed up to the factory and they said, "Yeah, we put the flag up because you guys are coming," I was like,
That got my blood boiling a little bit. I was like, hell yeah.
That was wild.
That was awesome.
So
"That's the nicest thing I've."
we fly out there. We go through Chicago. It wasn't that long of a flight.
No.
What, it was 12, 13 hours?
There, and then back was like 9.
Yeah, quick. But we went through L.A. But from Chicago, it's pretty incredible that you can go to Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, it was within a 24-hour period. I was in my bed at home to then having dinner in Tokyo.
Yeah, that is pretty wild.
Which is pretty incredible. So we got into Tokyo. We did some sightseeing, which was fine. I learned a lot about the imperial family. I didn't totally understand how long the imperial family's been around for. It's the longest lineage of any monarchy in the world.
Yeah, and they don't do anything, right? They're
Not
for show.
post World War II.
Yeah.
No, it was a really big deal. But that was like the sticking point post World War II was the imperial family and the emperor. Like that was the most sacred of sacred cows was the emperor. So that was cool. But then we got to the visit, which was 2 days with Hitachi, 1 day with a customer.
Yep.
So first day we went to the small excavator factory, which was like 10, 15 ton machines.
Small, medium excavators. Yeah.
Up to
I think they said they went up to 30.
30 ton.
35.
Yeah. So most of the machines I think we saw were between 15 and 30 ton.
Yeah. Civil construction machines.
Yeah. What did you guys think about the first factory?
It was great. I mean, our experience was great. They were super accommodating. Being able to go on the actual assembly line was awesome. But like as far as the factory itself, that was a well-oiled machine, man. Like
they were turning and burning.
There are a lot of people, and everybody was just dialed in, doing what they needed to do.
Yeah.
Like
that's what I feel like. That's when you know something when they're really good at something is when there's no chaos.
No,
there's
a lot going on, but it wasn't
controlled.
chaotic.
So much going on. Stuff going on everywhere.
Yeah.
But not a single ounce of chaos in that building.
I think the only reason why it might have felt a little more chaotic to us is because we had an entourage.
The entourage, I knew you could say that.
It was the entourage was.
I think if it was like just
cracking me
us
up.
three and like maybe one or two other people, it wouldn't have been as bad. But like having like 8 people follow us around, I felt
There were probably 30.
There was 30. Once we got into the talking part of the factory, there was at least 25 people.
And I don't
standing
even know
around.
where all the people started to come from.
they just kept tagging along.
Yeah, they just started tagging along.
The group started getting bigger and bigger. And bigger.
They were walking with us too. I was like, they were all from one spot. They were like coming along with us in the factory. I had to back up and take a shot of it because it was like, wow.
No, I was like, make sure you get that because this is hilarious. We've never had this.
There's like 25 people on here.
It was out of control.
That was funny.
Yeah, it was my first time seeing Japanese manufacturing, and it could not have been more impressive. They were just dialed in, like everything, and the whole just-in-time thing was remarkable to see too. That's what they're very famous for, is the just-in-time. Like, there's not a lot of shit laying around the factory. They're just getting exactly what they need for the machine on the assembly line when they need it. There's not very much sitting there ready to go. It's not like there's 17 engines within the factory. There's like 3, and they're just for the next 3 machines, and then one goes onto a machine, then forklift brings in another one and brings in another
They
one.
say it was every 22
22 minutes.
They don't want to talk about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We cut that.
Yeah, we'll cut that part out.
Okay.
But it was a moving assembly line.
Yeah.
So each machine was on a little jig, I guess, to prop it up off the floor because it didn't have the undercarriage on to start. And then they would bring the frame in from another part of the factory. We didn't get to see the fabrication, which is fine. The welding robots and everything like that. It's cool, but we were like them we were the first outsiders allowed to film
Yeah.
ever before. They kept saying like they haven't done this before, so they're not totally sure how this is going to work out, which was part of my angst when we started. I was like, I don't know how this is going to be. Are they going to let us actually see anything? Are we going to film anything? How's this going to be? Who knows? But they ended up showing us everything. So we just walked down the assembly line. They bring the frame in, and then just right away they start adding, you know, every station. It's like you'd imagine an assembly line to be. They just add more stuff, add more stuff, add more stuff. And as you get further down the assembly line, it's just slowly inching along. Yep. As you get down to the end, finish excavator.
Yep.
It was super impressive to see how fast they were moving. Like, even the guys putting in bolts were going, like, to me, that hand-eye coordination just doing that was impressive. This guy's turning and burning 10, 15 bolts with one drill and in the bottom of an excavator. It's just, it was really impressive.
But they were going fast, but it was very casual at the same time.
Yeah, it was like another day in the office for him.
Yeah,
it wasn't like
they weren't like sweating bullets doing it. They were just doing what they do.
It was incredibly impressive, and they all seemed very proud of their work too. Like nobody was having a bad time. Like you see back here, I've seen people in factory jobs. They look miserable. They just don't like their life.
Yeah.
And over there, they looked super, super, super happy to be there.
Yeah, they're
really cool.
They're very excited to have us to show off what they do because they're so proud of what they do, which was
I would
sweet.
be too.
Yeah,
with the way their factory looked and the way they were getting those machines out and how quick they were doing it, I would be super impressed.
Yeah,
and super proud.
My favorite part was the demonstration.
Demonstration
where you just started spinning.
Oh yeah,
and like throwing the boom around.
Yeah, they brought a brand new machine out for us, and they're like, "So what do you want?" And we were like, I don't know. Tell him to move the machine around. So he just starts,
just cranks the stick and starts spinning.
Just ripping it. And he was like the whole factory was covered in steel. So the whole floor, inside the factory, outside the factory, everything was steel. So there was no dirt or anything.
Yeah,
it wasn't like there was a pile of dirt to test the machine on. They do that elsewhere. So he was just spinning around pretty much.
Yeah.
He's doing some fake buckets here and there. But
yeah.
Then you hopped in there.
Yeah, they like I said, they didn't really tell us no for anything.
Nah, I had a guy because I was breaking off from the group a little bit more because that's what we do. You know, I just do the B-roll off to the side when you guys are doing your A-cam stuff, and so I had a guy that was behind me, and it was the same kind of feeling as like other projects we've been to where like a person's standing behind you. But it wasn't like he's watching me like a hawk. It was more like he's just making sure I'm safe, that was really nice. Really, really nice to have.
Which I have much more patience for in that kind of setting because it's
we're in a factory.
We're
out of our
way
element.
outside of my element here. So
we're used to job sites and mines.
Stuff flying. There's stuff going around on cranes. There's
that
and can't forget about the crane music.
Yeah, every crane had a different song.
It was like an ice cream truck song.
Yeah, but some of them were like classical music, and then others were pop songs. And, I mean, they were all very different.
Yeah, it was. I feel like it was whoever had that kind of vibe. In that station picked the music because it was like it would be like a random like Katy Perry song, and then two, three stations down, it'd be some classical, some like Bach or something like that.
Yeah, or then like the next one would be some kid song.
Yeah. It was really weird.
Like Mary Had a Little Lamb.
And they all had tunes.
But I like that.
Yeah, I like it a lot too.
A factory, you'd think it'd be just so serious, but then you hear like all these little jingles everywhere
where
when the cranes are moving
characters on the safety posters, the cartoons.
Safety anime characters. Yeah, I like
everything's anime over there.
Everything's anime.
Everything has a mascot. Everything's.
Oh yeah. Like every advertisement on every bus, train, people's shirts, like everything.
People just they like dress up, they cosplay.
Yeah, just random people dressed up walking down the street.
Yeah, they got cat ears on and a mini skirt, and you're like, what are you doing? But it's normal for them. They're dressing as an anime character.
Yeah, I feel like when we first got there, some guy walked out of the elevator like
Mad Hatter costume.
way dressed up.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Where's he going?
Do you remember the guy at the Tokyo Sky Tower? He was singing. He had a Mad Hatter costume on.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was literally dressed as the Mad Hatter.
Yes.
Wasn't he a tour guide?
Yeah, he was a tour guide.
Nice.
Dressed as a Mad Hatter.
Why don't we get that tour guide?
Oh yeah, that would have been
That would've been
fantastic.
sick.
Yeah, it was good. And then we saw, main machines get assembled. Then they go to testing. Then they put the boomstick bucket on, and then they go get shipped.
Yep.
And even we asked to go see some other stuff, and they were like, yeah, let's go. And they walked us through paint inspection and where they put the Hitachi sticker on and where they put boom and stick on.
Yep.
Like there wasn't really anything. They're like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah, no.
And had they said anything, I'd be like, all right, yeah, I get it. I'm in your house. You tell me what's cool and what's not cool.
Yeah, and I feel like we've had that before, where it's like we've gone somewhere and they're like, oh, don't shoot this, don't shoot this, don't shoot this, and it's like awesome, we're cool with that.
Yeah.
But then when we go to a place like that, where it's like, just look for these things and just have at it. Oh, it made the experience incredible, because you're just sitting there. I feel like I learned a lot more just being on the floor in general.
And even the guys we were with, they're like, the last time we were here, we couldn't get off the little path. Because every factory has like typically like a green painted path or like some lines that you have to stay within.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, you can't go off this path. And it's pretty, you can kind of see what's going on, but it's pretty far away. Like you're not walking on the assembly line. You're pretty far off the line. So you can see it over a bunch of stuff, but you're not really seeing the action. But then walking up and standing on the line and standing there and being with
As
the
it's
guys,
moving.
totally different experience.
It's crazy.
I was a little afraid because I've been to factories where it's like, you've got to follow the prescribed tour. You've got a tour guide. You've got the headsets.
Yeah.
You can't go outside of the lines.
Or you're on like a little.
That's what I thought was.
You're on a
happen.
cart. You can't take pictures of that. Nope. We can't show that.
Yeah.
Can we show this? We're not sure. Which again, I understand it's manufacturing, but they were just as accommodating as possible.
Yeah, I was
that was
kind of
great.
shocked at that.
And most everybody's good with language, but we had a translator as well for
Yeah.
the 3 days, which was also very helpful.
If we didn't, we might have been a little screwed in certain situations. I'm glad we had a translator.
It would have been a little trickier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the first factory. Then second day, we went to the big factory, the mining machines.
Yep, in the port.
And the big excavators in the port. So it was right on the water, which was very cool. We interviewed two of the guys that worked at the factory, that run the factory.
Yep.
Which was where I needed the translator because it was a translated interview.
Yeah. They didn't speak a lick of English.
Well, they kind of did.
They understood
Certain
Aaron.
phrases.
They understood. Yeah, when
Yeah.
you're speaking a different language, it's a lot easier to understand than to speak. So they could understand some stuff.
Yeah.
But then did that, and then first we saw the mining trucks, which was
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet.
Hitachi bought Euclid, so they bought the big green trucks from back in the day, which are now Hitachi trucks, and they're pretty big trucks, up to 300 something ton trucks.
They were solid.
As big as most mining trucks get, really.
Yeah.
That was on one line, which was pretty cool because it was a moving line.
Was that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a little different because it wasn't the floor moving; it was the little carts that machines were on. Moving.
That's right.
It was weird because, like, at the start of where a haul truck starts in the Hitachi factory, it doesn't look like a haul truck at all.
Well, it's just a frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it slowly progresses, and the further you get down, like, you're 2 stations in, like, you skip 2 parts in the line, and it's immediately apparent that's a haul truck, and it's fascinating how quick that comes together. It didn't click in my mind that we were filming haul trucks until we got two places down the line.
Well, it's interesting too, just the difference between the small machines and the much bigger machines, because the bigger machines, I feel like there's not as many components on a truck than an excavator.
Yeah.
So there's like more stuff happening on the excavator line.
Yeah.
But and because the trucks are so much bigger, they just have more space to work, so they can just, I feel like, put more stuff onto the truck at each station.
It looked like they were building Legos when we first got in there.
Yeah.
The first couple stations looked like they were just putting together Legos.
Well, and that was one of the points of their manufacturing process, was they're building a lot of this stuff away from the line and putting these little modules together, and then they can just grab the module and put it onto the truck. Bingo, bango.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool, yeah. So they had stations, and so it was like, all right, maybe the truck frame. All right, we're getting to be a truck, kinda. Okay, yeah, this is definitely a truck. And then you get to finished truck, 100% mining truck.
Yeah.
And then the very end is a half-built truck again, because that's when they're taking it apart for shipping, which I thought was super interesting.
That was interesting. You'd think it'd just be like at the end is the full truck.
Yeah, but it was the second to last was the full truck. The last one was a half-built truck again.
Yeah.
Because
they had to run the fluids through it and stuff.
Well,
like that.
they had to get rid of you have to.
I feel like on the last station before they dismantled it, they ran the fluids through it and then drained them, and then
No, well, on the last one, when the last built one, fluids, test it, and then I feel like they have to take the fluids out again.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's in the
you have to drain it.
disassembly, I think.
So do they leave it up to the customer to put the fluids back in?
No, because they'll have a Hitachi, they'll have mechanics build the truck again on site, and then test it before it actually goes into production.
That makes sense.
Because at the factory, there's no tires on the trucks. There's no need for tires. You're
wheels.
not driving them.
Well, I guess they got the hubs.
Yeah, but yeah, no
Those are
tires.
the electric trucks.
Electric drive. So they had the drive motors on the back,
yeah.
the back tires, and then no bed.
Yeah.
Because that's typically built.
And that's just one piece. Not actually one piece, but
It'll be
it's put on as one piece.
Yeah, put on was one piece. Either is arrived in 3 or 4 pieces.
Yeah.
Sometimes the tray is 3 with the rock guard as another, or sometimes the rock guard's built into the 3 sections.
Yeah.
But the trays are typically built wherever the truck is going. If they're in Africa, they're typically manufactured in Africa, South America, Australia, etc.
Yeah.
So then the trucks from there, they get broken down into pieces, go to the port, which we went to. And then we went over to the mining excavator side of the factory.
That's pretty sweet. You got some see some cool stuff over there.
Super cool. So the big machines, it's not an assembly line. They just build in place. So they start with a gigantic frame. The frames are huge on those mining excavators. And then they just build up, putting the different Legos on.
Yeah.
And that felt more like a shop than a factory when they're.
Did we figure out? Did we ever figure out which model that was?
The big one was a 5600.
Yeah.
So there weren't any 8000s going on in there, but they had a 5600 and then maybe like a 2800. I forget what size it was, but around like 250 to 300 ton machines were the other ones.
The 5600 we saw in there, was that a front shovel that they were doing?
I don't know. They didn't say, or I didn't ask that.
I don't think it was easy to discern. So, but
no, and it's the same thing with the excavators. They build them up and then they tear them down again.
Yep.
For then shipping in pieces.
Yeah. Well, they were shipping them just without the booms, weren't they?
No, it's all like you saw it you filmed it at the port. They had all the different excavator pieces on those giant pallets.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about? I'm thinking of like 1200s.
No, the mining excavators. Yeah,
Okay.
big ones.
Yeah.
And then we saw the medium-sized excavators, medium to large.
Yeah.
Excavators, the 40-ish to 120 ton machines.
Yeah.
those
are on assembly line.
That was probably my favorite.
That was my favorite part of the factory for sure. And then like them firing up after and before they tracked them out. The smell of that, it made my day. I was like, "Oof, this smells so good."
I agree.
It's just brand new, fresh diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are cool. Because what was it? It was they would come to the end of the assembly line and then slide 90 degrees to the right, and then they would bring the undercarriage over.
Yeah, so it was another moving assembly line.
Yeah.
So the whole floor was moving, it was kind of weird too when you're walking around on it. It was moving really slow, but you could tell it was
really
moving.
slow.
Yeah, you could still feel it was like, oh, this is not staying in the same place. But the whole floor is moving. The whole factory is essentially going at one pace. They're building all kinds of different machines on the same line. So they're building, one will be a 40-ton machine. The next one will be a 120-ton machine, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Similar to the smaller excavator factory, just I think a little bit more spacious, bigger components, bigger machines. Start with the frame at one end as it goes to the other.
Yep.
Engine, hydraulic system, pumps, tanks, cab, everything goes on.
Yep.
And then it's like it's moving on the line, but it's also on this little cart
Yeah.
that they can then slide off the line.
Yep.
And then they slide it all the way over to the other part of the factory where they're building the undercarriages. And then they plop the house onto the undercarriage.
Yep. And we got to see them lift the undercarriage with the crane.
Yeah,
Which was
that
very cool.
That was super cool.
They lift that thing up pretty high.
Yeah.
They had to bring it over another
They
excavator.
lift that undercarriage probably like 20 feet up in the air.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a lot of weight. I mean, that's...
Yeah, that's no joke.
And that was not a huge... I think that was a...
It was,
890, 870, whatever size machine that is.
it looked like a 45 ton machine.
No, I think it was for the... Maybe. But it wasn't one of the biggest ones. I know they're bigger ones that they're lifting in there. And then they marry the two together. I think they call it docking. And then...
Yeah.
And then they just, I think what was my favorite about that factory was they then drove the machines out.
Yep.
So we got to see some big machines
Quite literally drive out.
walk out of the factory, which was, I thought, pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Just take their first steps. Baby, take their first steps.
Yeah. I've got a soft spot for 1200s too, because that was the first big machine I ever got to shoot. The first mining excavator I got to shoot was a 5600, and the first big excavator I got to shoot was a 1200.
I think I have one of your first 5600 photos on my wall.
Really?
Yeah.
That's at Capstone then?
Yeah. It's in the
1200's
desert.
a good machine.
It's a super solid machine.
Good looking machine.
I've only heard good things about 1200.
yeah.
I think most
1200 was my first big excavator at Turner.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they run a few of them.
With the Exmoor bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw. Is that a 120?
120 ton excavator.
Yeah, that's the first time I saw more than 100 ton excavator. I was like, holy shit, this is pretty cool.
So then we walked through. They also had a part of the factory that was like special orders. That's where they made the big demolition machines too, which I want to see next time.
Yeah,
The
that'd be
Japanese
sick.
demolition machines, I think, are the best in the world based on what I've seen.
Yeah. The machines that we even saw just on like passing glances there were insane.
That giant one that wasn't
Yeah.
painted, it was
Yeah.
like 1800 size excavator, triple boom.
Oh, yeah, the one with the primer paint on it.
Yeah.
Monster
It looked,
machine.
was
yeah.
sick.
It
Monster.
looked gnarly.
I connected with a guy out there. He doesn't speak English. I don't speak Japanese, but we've through Google Translate have communicated enough. And he just posts like Japanese demolition machines. He knows where every machine is. They're all custom painted.
Yeah.
And even one of them has like action figures on them. I need to show you
Oh,
guys.
I'm sure.
Like
It's-
Gundams.
No, it's I don't know how to explain it, but it's a bunch of different random colors, and their paint scheme is super cool. Super cool.
That's awesome.
I thought one of the cooler machines we saw that we didn't even really come for was the Extendo boom that it was working on that basement. Remember? When
Oh,
we were
yeah.
up on the Skytree.
Yeah, they have a lot of those.
Yeah,
It'll
those
be
are
the-
really, really cool.
Telescoping
Yeah.
boom
Yeah.
to reach down into basements. Because Tokyo, it's so dense. Every building has a basement.
Yeah.
And to dig the basement, they have to have that telescoping clamshell go down, grab the material, like watching paint dry. So then from there, saw the factory. Then we went to the port, which is where they had all the machines ready for export.
Yep.
Which I thought was awesome. That was my first time at a port. I've shot in a not kosher way the Savannah port so many times over because that's where a lot of machines are exported off the
Yeah.
East Coast in the U.S. But this was
First official.
sanctioned. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had a ton of machines out there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The not even just Hitachi, but the Hitachi machines were the whole lineup they had was
Tons of
just
Hitachi machines.
ridiculous. Yeah.
So they had all the smaller excavators, they had the bigger excavators on tracks out there, the loaders,
Yeah.
and then all the bigger machines they had basically on these gigantic pallets.
Yeah.
Like the trucks, mining excavators, 120 ton 1200s
Booms.
on like gigantic pallets
Yeah.
that would then just get loaded onto ships and shipped all over the world. Some of them I was looking at are going to Georgia, and you could see the shipping labels.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember we even saw when we were in that crazy yard in the Middle East, some of the machines came from Georgia.
Yeah, all the cat dozers, because they're all manufactured in the States or assembled in the States.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun to shoot. The factory in general was fun to shoot, but that port was really fun to shoot. They let us bring out the drones and whatnot, and
Yeah.
we were able to get in really tight situations with those machines, and it was really, really fun, honestly.
Yeah, I only got yelled at when I climbed up on another manufacturer's machine to photograph the Hitachi. So I was like,
That'll happen.
I'm after the angles. Come on. But yeah, I reviewed my photos this weekend. I got some pretty sweet shots of the port.
Yeah, the port, it was really bright, but overall, I think everything that we got was really cool.
Yeah. So that was both the official Hitachi days. Then the third day was going to see a customer.
Yeah.
Fujisako.
That was awesome.
A quarry.
That was
That was a highlight.
fucking awesome.
Yeah. That was one of the cooler. Yeah. Even like you guys were kind of getting set up in the, at the bus there. They're like, all right, you're going to go in and meet the owner of the quarry. So I was like, all right. And we go into the small conference room, but it has like enough space for maybe 3 people, maybe 4 people. And again, there's like 20 fucking people. I don't even know where all these people came from, but there's so many people. I have no idea who these people are.
Yeah.
No, like everybody speaks Japanese. I don't speak Japanese, so I can't even ask them like, so what do you do around here? And then they're like, oh, no, we're going to go to this other building. So we go to this other building. You walk in, you take your shoes off, then you go into your office slippers. They all like, there's like 30 pairs of office slippers sitting there. So you grab your pair of office slippers, you go up, and then it's just this like giant conference table. I sit down with all these guys, maybe 10 people around the table, and then there's like another 10 or 15 standing. So this room just full of people that I don't know who the fuck's who. Fortunately, I have the translator with me, which she was amazing, and the quarry owner is across from me, and everybody. I feel like it's part of their culture, but I feel like it's like this way in the United States too. People like he's like the owner of the quarry. They think it's like really big deal.
Yeah,
and they're almost like, oh man, he's like the owner of the quarry. Pretty big deal. Like this guy's different level on a pedestal. And then like the first thing he says, he just cracks a fucking joke. And I'm like, nice. Yes, let's go. So then I sit there just joking with this guy through the translator for maybe like 15 minutes, which was a ton of fun.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah.
But it's super, super weird because it's like you say the joke to the translator and then she has to figure out how to translate it because some of the stuff, it's not direct translation. And then she says it and you're like, the whole time you're waiting for people to laugh, like hoping the joke lands. and then
5 seconds later.
5 seconds later, the whole room starts to chuckle and you're like, nice.
I did it. Glad you guys understood that one.
Let's go.
Thankfully, it didn't get lost in the weeds.
No. So then we have our business meeting. We go out to the quarry. When they said quarry, I was like, okay, quarry. Yeah, I mean, we've been a bunch of quarries. It's like right on rocks.
Yeah.
Pretty unique. He runs a 5600 excavator.
And what?
At a quarry.
Ridiculous. Just ridiculous, dude. Especially in that quarry. Like, that wasn't that big of a quarry.
It wasn't that big of a footprint. Yeah.
And then one of the biggest machines that Hitachi makes.
Yeah.
There. It was just ridiculous.
Biggest excavator in Japan.
And it was cool because you could tell he was like, the excavator wasn't there to do what it was doing the day we came, but he brought it out anyways to like show us, like to show it off and to move dirt. And
like it was like the factories, they could not have been more accommodating.
Yeah,
like
it was awesome.
usually it's like, all right, if we're gonna go see a 5600, they'd be like, all right, fuck you guys, just make it work. Like we're not even gonna think twice about you because we have numbers to hit.
Here's our bench that's at a 45 degree decline.
If it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. Just deal with it.
If there's dust, there's no water truck, you can't use that footage.
Yeah. Whereas there, like they parked the machine for us to walk around, for us to do the interview.
Yeah.
We got to run up and down the machine. The operator followed us, which was very cool.
Yeah.
So we got a picture with the operator. And then they were like, all right, do you want us to run the machine? And I was like, oh, you guys are waiting for us? Like, yeah, go run the machine. And then they fire it up and go to work.
Yeah, they walk it down. And
Walk it down.
It turns the corner, and you think it's going to keep going, and then it stops at this one little spot, and it's like not a spot you would think it would start digging at. It doesn't look like much of a face for a 5600, but
It was pretty snug.
yeah, he just starts turning and burning.
Yeah.
And those haul trucks were running. So,
But the operator was doing a really nice job for how tight that was.
oh yeah, he was chill as a cucumber too.
Yeah.
He took his shoes off. He was operating with his toes. The dogs were out, leaning back.
Well, he had the excavator slides.
Yeah, he had the sandal.
Yeah, he had the little shoe bin. So you take your shoes off, and then you get into your little excavator slides.
Yeah, I had to
And you
take
go
off
to
my
work.
boots when I went in.
Yeah,
It was sick.
yeah, yeah. The cab was immaculate.
The cab,
Spotless.
The cab was incredible. It was honestly perfect for filming too, because the way the seat was set up behind the operator, you could see everything, and the visibility in the cab is unlike any big excavator. And I've been in a lot of big excavators now from our travels.
Yeah.
That's most visibility I've seen in an excavator cab by far.
Yeah,
So just sitting in that back seat, you can see everything.
even compared to the 9600.
Yeah,
Really,
I wouldn't even think it's close, honestly.
the 9600.
The 9600 has good visibility too.
Big cab.
Like, and I'm no shade to Lee Bear, the 9600. That's a good cab, but that Hitachi cab is really good.
Yeah. So for then 2 hours, we just watched the machine work and load trucks.
Yeah.
Beautiful quarry. Like the plant was gorgeous. It was brand new.
Yeah.
Gorgeous operation.
Yeah. We were able to get camera shots, like get pretty close up from up above on the bench.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the closest I've ever been to a 5600. Like usually,
could have thrown a rock in the truck bed.
yeah. Don't even think about getting close. But they were.
Yeah.
Where do you want to be? And we had maybe
Yeah.
20 people watching us the entire time there too.
Yeah, and they were just happy as a clam to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
Which
just
is
hanging
so
out.
cool. Like
Uh-huh.
a lot of the marketing people that come with us sometimes they just don't understand it. They're just a marketing person. You
Yeah,
kinda-
don't really care.
Yeah, but when you see people that are really passionate about their job, it's like it shows. Like they're there to be there. You know, they were having fun.
What I thought was cool too was that there were some pretty high level people that joined us that day
Yeah.
from Hitachi and from the Japanese dealer, like
Yeah.
really high level. They all had suits on, but then they had like their vest and hard hat and gum boots that they put on, so they didn't wear their nice shoes out on the quarry.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I'd seen like a whole group of people wearing suits
Yeah.
on a quarry, and it wasn't because it was like stodgy corporate America, because that probably happens
Yeah.
here, and it's like, all right, fuck you guys. It was like that's just how they are. Like that's what they wear to work.
Yeah.
So of course they're going to be wearing the suit on the quarry as well.
Yeah.
Like even our guide Kobe, he from Hitachi. He was our like Hitachi guide.
Yeah.
He was wearing a suit every single place we went.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
when we went to dinner. It was
Yeah.
like he's our age. It was shocking. He was younger than us. He was wearing a suit everywhere. I felt embarrassed.
I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah,
it
I
was awesome.
even took a picture of the guys walking back to the car in their suits and gumboots with
Yeah.
like a big mining truck in the background, because it's just it just looked goofy.
Yeah.
But I really appreciated it.
Yeah.
That was great.
And the quarry owner, nicest guy in the world, super accommodating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took some pretty cool pictures I'm excited about.
He's calling you a middle schooler for
Yeah, he said he must have said 25 times how young I look. Then he was 80 something.
he goes at the end of it, he goes, "You look like a middle schooler to me."
Yeah,
Just laugh.
but through the translator.
I heard I was in the bus when he said that and I lost it. I started
Yeah.
laughing. I was like, "Oh my gosh,
And
that's
he
funny."
Took us to lunch after, and
And that was our first good course lunch.
it was because it was like
It's all fried.
buffet style. Yeah, and they just put it out on the table, and you could eat what you wanted.
yeah, good old pork tonkatsu. Had a lot of that.
Yeah, yeah. I demolished the shrimp. Just demolished the shrimp.
It was some good stuff.
So yeah, I guess that's Japan in a nutshell. Anything else?
Shinjuku was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to talk about Shinjuku?
No. You just have to see it to believe it.
What about the DVD store?
You can Google it. You can just Google it.
Yeah, we went to a very cool DVD store with some, I would say, dynamic films.
I would say some of the most interesting films in the world.
Yeah. Dynamic, eclectic,
Yeah.
fast-paced.
The consumer base there was very dynamic and eclectic.
Yeah. Some really exciting comic books. Some pretty extraordinary literature.
Other than like those places, the what were they called? Those like 7-level stores.
I don't know what
Don
they
Quixote.
were.
Don Quixote. Those,
Yeah, but it wasn't just one brand, was it?
The store was Don Quixote, but it was like 8 different stores in the store.
That
But
was
the
one we went
overall-
to,
Yeah,
but they
it was
had a
Don.
bunch of different ones.
Well, the main ones that we were going up like escalators in, those are all Don Quixotes.
Are they?
Yeah, they're all Don Quixotes. They're just different stores inside so it's like a brand. I'm pretty sure this is how it works. I'm not 100% positive, but it's like a brand that owns like the store, and then every level is a different store.
But it seems like every half of the aisle is a different store.
Yeah, that's really what it feels like.
It's like
overstimulation too.
yeah, it's like an antique mall. Like it's a big building with one brand, with then a bunch of different sellers within it, but way more condensed and with a million times more stuff and flashing lights and sounds.
Yeah.
And like everything from like a tourist shop to like an aggressive sex shop.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. You can get some like
you
both
turn-
ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
One aisle you're in CVS, and then you turn the corner, and then it's the adult store.
well, yeah. Like on one corner you can get like a really cool apple slicer.
Yeah, like
the next corner, yeah, you can get
apple peeler ever.
some wild like nurse costumes.
Yeah,
for you and the
TJ
missus.
Maxx,
Greens.
TJ Maxx checkout line,
Yeah.
and then that was cool though. It was Shinjuku. Other than the other stuff, was pretty cool. Like it's just wild, just how
Some
much is
people-
going on in such a small space.
Yeah.
Some
Every
people.
square inch is either a business or
Yeah, we got home after that night. I was like, I'm so fucking tired of people and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
walking into people.
It felt like you were in Disneyland.
yeah, but it's like
times 5.
it's like a game of Frogger at the same time.
Yeah.
Like you're just trying to avoid
yeah.
And everybody
all the people, and then you're trying to get onto the right train, and then
Yeah.
you're trying to get out of the fucking train station, which we didn't do very well.
Oh yeah.
And
we
then,
got lost a couple times.
and then you're trying to dodge the guys trying to sell you things
Yeah.
and people.
Yeah, because we stick out like a sore thumb.
That was
out
like a
there.
sore thumb, and that's like the
yeah.
touristy area.
big
so
Target,
come on
yeah.
down.
Yeah,
that one guy followed us. That was ridiculous.
Yeah. But anyway, that was our Japan trip, and we will have videos on it all out at some point.
it's
Very
gonna
good.
be good. It was a great time. Thanks
Well-
to Hitachi.
Yeah, huge thanks to Hitachi, and with that, we will probably be back after Europe.
Yep, Balma and Germany.
Palma, Germany, Netherlands,
I heard
maybe
something
some
about
Italy.
Italy today.
Yeah,
I got my bones excited.
Yeah.
a little bit.
stay tuned.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see everybody.